Remember Yan, the little girl who always munched on medicinal herbs and clung to Xiao Yan. The former brute force king of the inner courtyard is now the Dragon Emperor, ruling the Taishu ancient dragon clan. Yao Lao almost didn't recognize her at first glance. Now it's time to reap some rewards from the Soul Hall. Picking up where we left off, upon hearing that Yan wanted to leave the island, Xiao Yan hesitated slightly, indicating that East Dragon Island had just experienced a great battle, and leaving at this time might not be appropriate. He naturally understood that Yan wanted to help him seize the purifying Lotus Demon Flame. With the assistance of a 4-star Doshing, the success rate would undoubtedly be much higher, but the situation on East Dragon Island gave him some concerns. Yan blinked and smiled, explaining that the 3 Dragon Kings were severely injured, with the Western Dragon King and Southern Dragon King crippled, their recovery time uncertain. The elders would handle the matter on East Dragon Island properly. She mentioned that Xiao Yan had gone to great lengths to help her, and she felt she should repay him in some way. Seeing Yan's insistence, Xiao Yan hesitated for a moment, then finally nodded. He realized that the Soul Palace would inevitably intervene in the struggle for the pure Lotus Demon Flame, and they would no longer underestimate him. The experts they sent would certainly be formidable. Having a powerful figure like Yan accompany him would provide considerable security. When Yan saw Xiao Yan agree, her eyes flashed with excitement, and she asked impatiently when they would depart. Xiao Yan gave her a strange look, wondering if this girl was tired of staying on East Dragon Island and wanted to take this opportunity to get some fresh air. Xiao Yan indicated that since there was nothing else to do here, they would depart now. He then turned to Yao Ming with a smile, instructing him to take good care of Kai Lin if he returned to the 9 Netherworld Python clan. He suggested releasing Jiao Feng, the hostage from the Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan, to prevent them from becoming desperate. As for Kun Huang and the other 2, they should remain on East Dragon Island. 2 Doshing could restrain the Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan, and with the 3 major dragon islands now defeated, the Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan probably wouldn't dare to offer assistance lightly. Xiao Yan didn't invite Yao Ming to help, because although Yao Ming was strong, he had only recently assumed the position of clan leader and had offended the Heavenly Phoenix clan, so he couldn't stay away for too long. Yao Ming smiled and nodded, then clasped his hands in a fist salute to Xiao Yan, wishing him a safe journey. Xiao Yan smiled, said nothing more, and with a flick of his sleeve, a passage tore open in the space beside him. He walked slowly into it first, followed quickly by the others. After quickly giving some instructions, Yan also darted into the spatial passage under the helpless gaze of the Grand Elder of Donglong Island. In the azure sky, clouds drifted lazily, and the warm sun poured down, filling everything with a languid atmosphere. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the silent sky, and a spatial rift slowly tore open, from which several figures walked out. Yan emerged from the spatial rift, took a deep breath, and opened her arms. A hint of ecstasy graced her delicate face as she sighed, finally leaving that damned dragon island. She couldn't understand why those people had migrated to such a place before. Watching Yan, who had transformed from the majestic Dragon Empress into a childlike figure the moment she left Dragon Island, Xiao Yan and little fairy doctor exchanged bewildered glances and shook their heads helplessly. It seemed that although she had become the Dragon Empress, her original personality still lingered within her. Xiao Yan glanced around, determined their location, and with a wave of his hand, led the way, flying towards the Starfall Pavilion. At their current speed, Xiao Yan and his companions were terrifying. In just a few minutes, they had traversed numerous cities below. However, Xiao Yan frowned slightly, noticing that many of these cities appeared dilapidated, clearly having survived a major battle. A thought flashed through Xiao Yan's mind. It seemed the alliance hadn't been at peace lately. He then abruptly increased his speed and disappeared on the horizon. In the main hall of the Starfall Pavilion, Elder Yao, Ancestor Huiyun, the Grand Elder of the Pill Tower, and others gathered, their faces slightly gloomy, their mood far from pleasant. Elder Yao's gaze swept across the hall as he slowly said, "Recently, half of the more than 300 important cities under the Alliance have been attacked. These attacks seem to have come from other forces, but there are Soul Hall experts mixed in among them. News has also come from the Pill Tower. The number of attacks has increased recently, and many alchemists have disappeared without a trace after being attacked. Everyone should know who is behind it." Ancestor Huiyun's 2 fiery red eyebrows twitched, and he said fiercely, "These Soul Hall guys are becoming increasingly rampant." The Grand Elder of the Pill Tower, standing beside him, also nodded grimly. Even he, usually so composed, was angered by the Soul Hall's despicable methods. Elder Yao noted that thankfully, the Alliance had established patrols and guards early on, avoiding considerable trouble. However, the outside world now knew that the Soul Hall had kept the Heavenly Mansion Alliance busy and in a sorry state, causing some neutral forces that had originally intended to join the Alliance to hesitate, which was detrimental to their reputation. The Grand Elder of the Pill Tower slowly inquired of Elder Yao what his plan was. A cold glint flashed in Elder Yao's eyes as he said in a deep voice, "An eye for an eye. They attack our cities, so we'll attack their branch." Upon hearing this, the Grand Elder of the Pill Tower and Ancestor Huiyun were slightly startled. Although the Heavenly Mansion Alliance was not weak now, it was still inferior to the Soul Hall. Elder Yao actually wanted to take the initiative. Attacking a branch of the Soul Hall hadn't happened in the Central Continent for many years after all. It was like touching a tiger's tail. Under the Soul Hall's fearsome reputation, others would avoid it like the plague, who would dare to walk into a trap. Old Master Yao smiled faintly, indicating that although the Soul Palace was powerful, many of its experts were at headquarters, and the branch palace's defenses weren't as terrifying as imagined. As long as they concentrated their forces, they wouldn't be unable to defeat them. Currently, the Heavenly Mansion Alliance was slightly weaker than the Soul Palace, but the gap wasn't significant. The Soul Palace was backed by the Soul Clan, but the Soul Clan was also being monitored by other ancient races, so there was no need to worry about the Soul Clan launching a large-scale attack to wipe out the Heavenly Mansion Alliance. Xiao Yan possessed the Tuosha Ancient Emperor Jade, and the ancient races would never stand idly by and watch it fall into the hands of the Soul Clan. Therefore, if the Soul Clan dared to make a move, the ancient races would certainly not stand idly by. While everyone was pondering, a clear laugh rang out in the hall, followed by a gentle breeze, and several figures appeared. It was Xiao Yan and his group. Everyone was startled upon seeing the newcomers, then their faces lit up with joy. Old Ancestor Huiyun chuckled, scolding Xiao Yan for finally returning, but then suddenly noticed something, his expression changing slightly as he stared at Xiao Yan in astonishment. The Grand Elder of the Pill Tower also fixed his gaze on Xiao Yan. After a moment he sighed and said with a wry smile, "In just half a year, Xiao Yan has jumped directly from the early stage of a 1-star Doxing to 2-star. This speed is deliberately meant to make him ashamed to face anyone." Old Yao was also somewhat taken aback, clearly not expecting Xiao Yan's strength to advance so rapidly in just half a year. He quickly recovered and stroked his beard with delight. His gaze shifted slightly and suddenly stopped on Ziyan beside Xiao Yan, his expression becoming solemn. Although he was only a high-level half-saint, his soul power was exceptionally strong, and he could naturally sense Ziyan's terrifying power. Old Yao stood up and politely clasped his hands in a respectful gesture towards Ziyan, inquiring about her abilities. Old Ancestor Huiyun and the Grand Elder of the Pill Tower, standing to the side, also noticed this terrifying figure, their eyes filled with horror. How could Xiao Yan have brought back such a powerful being after just one trip? Seeing Old Zhao's politeness, Ziyan felt somewhat embarrassed. She had met Old Zhao before, but back then she was still a little girl. Xiao Yan smiled slightly and introduced her as Ziyan. He said that Yao Lao had met her before, but now she was the Dragon Emperor of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan, and had come to help him seize the purifying Lotus Demon Flame. Upon hearing this, Huiyun Patriarch and the Pill Tower Elders' hearts skipped a beat. They looked at Xiao Yan with disbelief, clearly unable to believe that he could know such a terrifying being. The Dragon Emperor of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan was considered an extremely mysterious being by many. Even ordinary ancient dragons were legendary figures. In many people's minds, the Taishu ancient dragons were as mysterious and powerful as an ancient race, with the Dragon Emperor being on par with figures like the patriarchs of the ancient clan and the Soul Clan. Even Huiyun Patriarch and the Pill Tower Elder had never seen such a powerful being in person. Therefore, upon hearing that Ziyan was actually the legendary Dragon Emperor of the ancient Dragon Clan, their shock was barely concealed. Old Master Yao was stunned for a moment before recovering. He solemnly clasped his hands in a fist and smiled at Ziyan, saying he hadn't expected Miss Ziyan to have such a high status. He had indeed been blind to her before. Ziyan felt slightly awkward with Old Master Yao's polite treatment. She knew Xiao Yan regarded Old Master Yao as a father, and naturally couldn't display any of his former Dragon Emperor-like demeanor in front of him. Xiao Yan also understood what Ziyan was thinking. He smiled and took over the conversation, saying, "Teacher, there's no need to be so polite. Just treat her like the little girl you used to be. Since teacher made that suggestion earlier, he must have already chosen which branch to attack. When the matter was brought up, old Master Yao's expression became more serious. He nodded, indicating that he had gathered a lot of information from his extensive investigation of the Soul Palace during this period. The Soul Palace had many branch palaces in the central continent, 24 of which were of a higher level. The Soul Palace called them the Earthly Fiend Palaces, and the branch palace where he had been imprisoned last time was one of the Earthly Fiend Palaces. Xiao Yan nodded slightly. This was indeed something he hadn't heard of before. Above the Earthly Fiend Hall is the Heavenly Gang Hall, which is the most important part of the Soul Hall, Yao Lao slowly explained. The Heavenly Gang Hall is divided into 3 sections: Heaven, Earth, and Human. The Heavenly Hall is the headquarters of the Soul Hall, but its exact location is currently unknown. This time, the target is the Human Hall within the Heavenly Gang Hall. Xiao Yan inquired about the Human Hall's strength. The Earthly Hall is under the jurisdiction of the Soul Hall's Vice Hall Master, while the Human Hall is under the jurisdiction of the Great Heavenly Venerable, the Second Heavenly Venerable, and others. Of course, it's possible that the Soul Hall has increased its defenses. Xiao Yan smiled faintly, stating that the 3 Great Heavenly Venerables had already perished at his hands, and the Second Heavenly Venerable, Bone Nether Saint, was only at the level of a high-level half-saint. As for the Great Heavenly Venerable, he wouldn't fear him if they met again. It seemed the Human Hall could be taken over. His smile held a hint of sinister intent. He deeply resented the Soul Hall, having narrowly escaped death at the hands of these bastards multiple times over the years. Now that his power had grown, perhaps it was time to take the initiative and settle some past scores. Xiao Yan stated that he would handle the destruction of the Human Palace. The Alliance needed strong protectors to prevent the Soul Palace from suffering the same fate, so he hoped Senior Hui Yun and others would oversee the operation. Yao Lao hesitated slightly, then agreed to accompany them. The Human Palace was located in a rather secluded place, difficult to find even with a map. Xiao Yan hesitated slightly but nodded. With Ziyan, a 4-star Doshing, by their side, there weren't many peak experts in the central continent who could pose a threat to them. Even the true Soul Palace Master probably couldn't easily defeat Ziyan and take all their lives. Yao Lao stroked his beard and said that since that was the case, they would rest for 2 days before setting off for the Human Palace. A fierce glint flashed in his eyes. For so many years, he and Xiao Yan had been constantly on the run from the Soul Palace. Now that they had finally escaped, how could they remain at peace if they didn't avenge themselves 1,000-fold? Little Xiao Xiao ran joyfully through the void. Xiao Yan's face lit up with a warm smile as he stepped forward and caught the little figure rushing towards him, a gentle warmth spreading through his heart. Little Xiao Zhao's big, dark eyes looked behind Xiao Yan, searching left and right for Kai Lin's figure. Xiao Yan smiled and said, "Mother is still cultivating. She'll come back to see me when she's finished." Holding little Xiao Xiao, he suddenly exclaimed in surprise. He noticed that the previously turbulent and chaotic energy within little Xiao Zhao's body was gradually calming down, subtly changing in accordance with her thoughts. Aside, Yao Lao smiled slightly, indicating that Xiao Zhao's talent for cultivation was extremely strong. In just over half a year, she had completely controlled the energy within her body, and was now a genuine Do Zong expert. Xiao Yan stroked little Zhao's little head and couldn't help but smile wryly. He recalled how much hardship he had endured to reach the Do Zong level, while little Xiao Xiao had reached it effortlessly without doing anything. Thinking back, it was truly astonishing. The old apothecary looked at Xiao Xiao with loving eyes, smiling as he said she was also very interested in alchemy. He planned to teach her the burning flame technique when she was older, and then find a different kind of flame for her to practice with gradually. Xiao Yan sighed, saying the old apothecary spoiled her too much. He handed Xiao Xiao to the curious Ziyan behind him, leaving them staring at each other. He then produced a jade bottle in his hand, containing a drop of golden liquid that emitted a faint, terrifying aura. The old apothecary's expression changed slightly upon seeing the blood in the bottle. He could sense the terrifying power it contained. Xiao Yan smiled and explained that it was the essence blood left behind by someone who had half-stepped into the Do Di realm. He tossed it to the old apothecary, saying that if his teacher consumed it, he should be able to quickly break through to the first-star Do Xing realm. The old apothecary carefully took the jade bottle, examining it for a long time, clearly hesitant. This thing was too precious. It would be of great benefit not only to him but also to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan smiled and indicated that he had already taken it once, and taking it again wouldn't be very effective. His teacher would refine it over the next few days, and then they would travel to the human palace to erase it from the central plains. Without waiting for Yao Lao to say anything more, he turned and led Ziyan and Xiao Xiao out of the courtyard. Yao Lao watched Xiao Yan's retreating figure for a moment, then smiled wryly, clutching the jade bottle in his hand, a warm feeling welling up inside him. For the next few days, Xiao Yan stayed at the Starfall Pavilion. In his spare time, he taught some of his fighting techniques to Xiao Xiao. The astonishing talent the latter displayed left him speechless for the first time. Perhaps only someone like him could truly be considered a genius. His so-called genius boy in Wutan City back then paled in comparison to Xiao Xiao now. Over 5 days, Xiao Yan thoroughly enjoyed the experience of fatherhood. That feeling sometimes made him suddenly realize that he was truly maturing. He was no longer the impetuous and naive boy he once was, but a true giant. On the 6th day, the reclusive Yao Lao appeared before Xiao Yan, his body radiating a vast aura that made the latter realize he had successfully broken through to the 1-star Doujing level. Xiao Yan wasn't surprised by Yao Lao's breakthrough. Yao Lao already possessed a strong foundation with his accumulated strength and the effects of the demon saint's blood essence. Reaching the 1-star Doujing level was entirely expected. The day after Yao Lao's breakthrough, Xiao Yan and his companions quietly disappeared from the Starfall Pavilion. Only a few high-ranking members knew that the Heavenly Mansion Alliance's first counterattack against the Soul Palace had finally begun. The Burial Corpse mountain range is located at the junction of the southwestern region of Central State. Due to its terrain, the area is extremely Yin in nature, mixed with a thick aura of corpses. Because most families within thousands of miles have buried their dead here, the Burial Corpse mountain range is a strange mountain range composed of graves. Under normal circumstances, it's almost impossible to find anyone here. No one wants to stay in such a ghostly place. Amidst the silence of the Burial Corpse mountains, a few whooshing sounds suddenly arose. Flashes of light appeared, and several figures emerged from a peak deep within the mountains, their gazes fixed on a space hidden behind tall gray trees at the deepest part of the range, a space subtly distorted. Yao Lao pointed to the depths, indicating that the Heavenly Gang Hall's human hall was located deep within the Burial Corpse mountains, but a spatial barrier had been erected there. Anyone entering would be detected. Xiao Yan nodded slightly, his gaze falling on Ziyan. She smiled and flicked her sleeve, causing the surrounding space to ripple, eventually transforming into an even larger spatial barrier that completely enveloped the area. Xiao Yan raised his head slightly, a chilling expression on his face, indicating that this time, no survivors would be spared. The Soul Hall's revenge after more than a decade, it wasn't too late, was it? Within the slightly distorted space lay a vast expanse of black land. Occasionally, glimpses of a pale white surface were exposed on the Earth's surface, broken bones, exuding an eerie and chilling aura. At the center of this vast region, a colossal black palace stood silently, like an ancient beast crouching on the ground. A sinister and terrifying aura slowly permeated the sealed space. Within the black palace, countless extremely thick black chains extended, piercing deep into the earth. On each chain, a wisp of black mist swirled, vaguely coalescing into humanoid shapes. Occasionally, the chains would shimmer with light before disappearing into the black mist, making it even more solid. The entire area was eerily quiet, a strange atmosphere enveloping it, sending chills down one's spine. This silence lasted for an unknown period. Suddenly, a dozen or so wisps of black mist rose from the chains. The mist contracted, transforming into a dozen or so cold-faced figures. These figures exchanged glances, then moved swiftly, converging together. Among these people, a figure who appeared to be the leader spoke in a hoarse voice, indicating that it was time for them to go out and carry out their mission, hoping to bring back enough souls this time. One of them chuckled sinisterly. A while ago, Old Monster Lu's group launched a sneak attack. The cities of Tianfu not only brought back enough souls, but also received a generous reward from the Heavenly Venerable. This time, they would also go and massacre a few cities of Tianfu. The leading figure smiled sinisterly and nodded slowly, reminding them not to leave any survivors. Then, with a wave of his hand, more than a dozen figures transformed into a cloud of black mist, hurtling towards the outside of this space like lightning. But just as this cloud of black mist was about to break through the spatial barrier, the space around them suddenly solidified, then collapsed violently. The dozen figures didn't even have time to scream before being crushed into nothingness by the terrifying spatial force. As these figures vanished, the spatial barriers slowly cracked open, and several figures slowly walked in, their feet landing on the dark earth. As Xiao Yan and his group stepped into the spatial barrier, a mournful wail echoed from the giant hall. Immediately, sinister gazes shot forth from the black mist surrounding the chains, fixed on Xiao Yan and his companions. A series of chilling shouts shattered the silence of the space. Numerous figures rose from the chains, transforming into black streaks of light without warning, creating a chilling gust of wind as they surged towards Xiao Yan and his group. Seeing this, Xiao Yan smiled, indicating that these cannon fodder were running away quite happily. He opened his mouth, and a sea of scorching fire erupted from it. Any black figures that approached within 10 feet of the flames were reduced to nothingness in less than 3 breaths. Some weaker individuals didn't even have time to scream. As the fire engulfed the area, the approaching black figures finally stopped in shock. They realized that these people hadn't come to their deaths, but had come prepared. As the sea of fire engulfed the sky, a slightly familiar, angry shout suddenly echoed from within the massive hall. The voice berated the scoundrel for daring to run rampant in the Soul Hall, declaring him truly courting death, and ordered the heavenly venerables to capture him. Immediately, a dozen figures flashed out of the hall, hovering in the sky, their sinister gazes fixed on Xiao Yan and his group behind the sea of fire. Xiao Yan laughed, his laughter like thunder, booming directly into the hall, indicating that a mere Do Zun dared to display such power, and that he had summoned the old ghost Guyu personally. As he laughed, he took a step, directly traversing the hundreds of zhang-wide sea of fire, appearing in midair. He clenched his fist towards the group of Soul Hall heavenly venerables, instantly freezing space, and then clenched down fiercely. With Xiao Yan's clenched fist, the bodies of the dozen or so Soul Hall heavenly venerables instantly exploded into pools of blood and gore. Even their souls were shattered by the terrifying spatial compression. With Xiao Yan's current strength as a 2-star Doxing, these mere Do Zun level figures couldn't possibly hinder him in the slightest. Just as he grasped the ground, Xiao Yan suddenly exclaimed in surprise. He discovered that there was actually another figure in the collapsed space, and this person was surrounded by azure flames. Xiao Yan recognized the origin of the flames at a glance and asked if the person was Elder Mu Gu. Xiao Yan waved his hand, and an invisible force grabbed the figure, shattering the blue flames surrounding the body with a single palm strike. Sure enough, a familiar figure was revealed. It was Elder Mu Gu, who had repeatedly caused Xiao Yan trouble in the past, and even tried to seize the championship of the Pill Gathering.